There are people who spend their entire lives chasing money and yet never manage to catch it. Others obtain it, but lose their peace, their family, or their sense of purpose. And then there is Solomon, the richest and wisest man who ever lived, not because he pursued wealth, but because he understood something that very few understand. Solomon discovered eternal principles that govern success, money, and true prosperity. Today we are not going to talk about cheap motivation or human formulas. Today we are going to reveal the secrets God taught Solomon, secrets that still work today. Lesson 1. Putting God first is the true origin of wealth. The first and most important secret of King Solomon is understanding that wealth does not begin with money, but with the heart. Solomon wrote that whoever loves money is never satisfied, because money was never designed to fill the inner emptiness of the human soul. When a person places money above God, they will always live with anxiety, fear of losing everything, and a constant sense of dissatisfaction. But when God occupies first place, money stops being an obsession and becomes a tool. Solomon understood that the blessing of the Lord is what makes one rich and adds no sorrow with it, because there are riches that come accompanied by anguish, conflict, and loneliness. Seeking God first does not mean despising money. It means understanding the correct order. When the order is right, provision flows. Solomon did not ask for wealth when God appeared to him. He asked for wisdom to govern rightly. As a result, God added riches, honor, and stability. This principle is still valid today. When you prioritize God, your financial decisions change, your habits come into order, and your vision becomes clear. True prosperity is the consequence of a life aligned with God, not the main objective. Lesson 2. Diligence is a spiritual law that produces abundance. Solomon carefully observed life and reached a clear conclusion. Diligence always leads to abundance, while laziness produces scarcity. It is not simply about working hard, but about working with responsibility, consistency, and wisdom. Diligence is a practical expression of faith. A diligent person honors time, takes care of resources, and makes the most of the opportunities God gives. Solomon wrote that lazy hands lead to poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth, because sustained effort creates real results. The diligent person understands that success does not arrive overnight, but is built day by day. He also warns that haste leads to poverty, because many want quick results without solid processes. God does not bless constant improvisation. He blesses consistency. Diligence develops character, discipline, and focus. When a person is diligent, they not only improve their financial situation, they also gain authority, credibility, and stability. Solomon makes it clear that God honors those who work with excellence and persevere even when they do not see immediate results. If this video is helping you, subscribe to the Biblical Finances channel and leave a comment sharing what you've learned so far. Lesson 3. Generosity activates laws of multiplication. One of the most powerful secrets Solomon taught is that giving does not impoverish a person, but positions them to receive more. This goes completely against human logic. The natural mind thinks that giving is losing, but divine wisdom teaches that giving is sowing. Solomon observed that there are people who give generously and keep gaining more, while others withhold even what little they have and end up in misery. Generosity breaks the spirit of greed and demonstrates trust in God. When a person gives with the right heart, they activate a spiritual law of return. Solomon affirms that serving the poor is lending to God, and God always pays his debts. Giving does not only bring material blessing, it also produces inner peace, joy, and emotional freedom. Generosity heals the heart and removes the fear of lack. When a person learns to give, they stop living clinging to material things and begin to live trusting in God. True prosperity is not found in accumulating, but in managing wisely with a generous heart. Lesson 4. Debt steals freedom, energy, and the future. Solomon was extremely clear when speaking about debt. The borrower is slave to the lender. This statement is not symbolic, it is real. Debt limits decisions, conditions, time, and steals peace of mind. A person in debt does not work from vision, but from pressure. Solomon understood that true wealth includes freedom, not just money. Debt forces people to sacrifice dreams for payments, purpose for urgency, and peace for constant worry. Although modern culture normalizes living in debt, Solomon warns that this lifestyle carries deep consequences. Getting out of debt is not only a financial goal, it is a restoration of personal freedom. When a person is freed from debt, they regain their ability to decide, to plan, and to move forward with clarity. Solomon teaches that financial wisdom includes living within one's means and avoiding commitments that enslave the future. True prosperity is not based on how much you owe, but on how much freedom you have. Lesson 5. Laziness leads to scarcity in every area. Solomon does not soften this principle. Laziness produces poverty, and not only economic poverty, but spiritual and emotional poverty as well. The lazy person always finds excuses, but never results. They live reacting instead of building. Solomon observed that laziness numbs the mind, weakens discipline, and extinguishes vision. The lazy person postpones, avoids responsibility, and waits for others to solve what belongs to them. Laziness steals tomorrow because it always sacrifices present effort. Solomon teaches that God honors the worker, the one who rises up, the one who perseveres. Rest is necessary, but living to avoid effort destroys potential. Normalized laziness leads to stagnation and constant frustration. Diligent work not only produces provision, it produces dignity, purpose, and growth. Whoever overcomes laziness builds a stable and abundant life. Lesson 6. Wise counsel accelerates success. Solomon understood that no one prospers alone. The one who ignores instruction despises himself. Seeking counsel is not weakness, it is wisdom. However, Solomon warns that not all advice is good. Some advice sounds good but leads to failure. That is why he teaches to evaluate the life of the counselor, not just their words. The right counsel saves years of mistakes, losses, and frustration. Wise people seek mentors, not applause. They seek correction, not just confirmation. Surrounding yourself with the right people elevates your mindset, your decisions, and your results. Solomon knew that pride rejects counsel, but wisdom actively seeks it. Sustainable success is the result of learning from those who have already walked the path. Lesson 7. Committing your work to God establishes your plans. The final secret connects all the previous ones. Committing your work to God. Solomon understood that work is not just a way to earn money, but a divine assignment. When a person works only for themselves, their limit is human. But when they work for God, they receive supernatural support. The profession or position does not matter. What matters is the heart with which the work is done. Solomon teaches that when work is surrendered to God, plans are established. This does not mean the absence of problems, but clear direction. God blesses excellence, integrity, and obedience. Consecrated work produces stability, impact, and legacy. When you work to glorify God, He takes responsibility for opening doors and sustaining the results. King Solomon understood something many ignore today. Money without wisdom destroys, but wisdom always ends up attracting provision. The problem is not money. The problem is when money arrives before character. That is why Solomon did not begin by accumulating riches. He began by aligning his heart with God, and when the heart was in order, prosperity became a natural consequence. Money is an excellent servant, but a terrible master. When it rules your life, it enslaves you. When you manage it with wisdom, it becomes a tool to fulfill purpose. True wealth is not found only in how much you have, but in how you obtain it, how you use it, and how peacefully you can sleep at night. Solomon taught us that wisdom protects wealth, diligence builds it, generosity multiplies it, and the fear of God keeps it stable. Money comes and goes, but wisdom remains. And when a person learns to walk in wisdom, they never return to mental, spiritual, or financial scarcity. Today, the world tells you to chase money at any cost. Solomon tells you to pursue wisdom, and money will follow you. Because when God governs your decisions, your finances stop being a constant struggle and become intentional stewardship. It is not about getting rich quickly, but about being prosperous in a stable, just, and lasting way. That is the difference between temporary success and a blessing that remains. True wisdom is not just a concept to understand, but a lifestyle to live. It shapes your actions, your choices, and your relationships. When wisdom is your guide, not only do you attract wealth, but you cultivate a life of purpose, integrity, and peace. This is the type of wealth Solomon truly understood. A wealth that endures, blesses others, and aligns with God's eternal plan. The final question is not how much money you want, but how willing you are to live with wisdom. Because when you choose wisdom, you choose the path that not only attracts wealth, but sustains it, protects it, and turns it into a blessing for you and for others. If this message encouraged you, subscribe now to the Biblical Finances channel, activate the notification bell, and join us every week for teachings of biblical wisdom applied to your finances.